Thank you, and welcome to another edition of Fishmonger Stories. My name is George, but I go by the name Fishmonger Stories. Today, I have 5 itty-bitty African riddles and a story to share with you. Are you ready for some riddles? Are you ready for some stories? First things first, don't forget to subscribe, like, leave a comment, share the story. It's very, very important that you leave a comment on YouTube. Are you ready for some riddles? Are you ready for some stories? Riddle number one, to see if you are smarter than an average African child. Are you ready for riddle number one? Riddle number one. It is full of keys, but cannot open any door. It is full of keys, but cannot open any door. Who am I? Full of keys, but cannot open any door. Who am I? It is full of keys, but cannot open any door. Hint, it is full of keys, but cannot open any door. It is full of keys, but cannot open any door. If you say the piano, yes, it is full of keys, but cannot open any door. The answer is the piano. Riddle number two. Riddle number two. What is as big as an elephant but has no weight? What is as big as an elephant but absolutely has no weight? What is as big as an elephant but absolutely has no weight? It is as big as an elephant but absolutely has no weight. If you said the shadow of an elephant, yes. The shadow of an elephant is as big as an elephant, but it has no weight. Yes. Riddle number three. Riddle number three. Are you ready? Are you ready? What goes up, 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 but never comes down? What goes up, 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 but never comes down? What goes up? It is not rent. It is not taxes. What goes up and never comes down? Think like an African child. Pick any country, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania. Pick any African country. Think like an African child. What goes up, 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 and never comes down? The answer is 3, 2, 1. The answer is age. Yes, your age always goes up. It will never come down. Riddle number four. Riddle number four. Riddle number four. He has married many, many women, but he himself has never been married. What is the answer? He has married many, many women, but he himself has never been married. What is the answer? He has married many, many women, but he himself, he has never been married. What is the answer? He has married many, many, many women, but he himself has never been married. What is the answer? Catholic priest. Yes, a Catholic priest has married many, many women, but he himself has never been married. I like the way you're thinking, but I want you to think like an African child. Fifth and last riddle. Fifth and last riddle before we get into the story. You take my skin off, but you end up crying. Who am I? You take my skin off, but you end up crying. Who am I? You take my skin off, but you are the one who is crying. Who am I? You take my skin off, but you are the one who is crying. Who am I? You take my skin off, but you are the one doing the crying. Who am I? Itty bitty African riddles to see if you are smarter than an average African child. You take my skin off, but you are the one who is crying. Who am I? Who am I? If you said the onion, yes, the onion is the answer. You peel the onion and you're like, is that how you cry? You peel the onion skin off, you're the one who is crying, not the onion. Thank you for participating. Are you ready for a story? Can I tell you a story? Are you ready? Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, are you ready for a story? Can I tell you a story? Hadithi, hadithi. Hadithi njo, hadithi njo, osani, yanchele, paukwa, pakawa. I say in, you say out. I say in, you say out. Opi you yaide. Opi you yaide. Lukama, opi you yaide. Opi you yaide. Lukama. Open your eyes. Let me tell you a story. Let me impart some wisdom upon you. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Nikwaramogi. Once upon a time, there was a king who had no son. And since the king, he was growing old, he wanted a successor to his throne. The king, he spent countless sleepless nights wondering what should he do. He had no son to succeed him. He wanted a son to succeed the throne. The king, he spent countless nights wondering what should he do. He called the council of his advisors to the palace and told him his dilemma. And he told them, go out there and find an eligible young man who will succeed me as the king. The only requirement is I want a young man full of compassion, a young man full of love for fellow human beings. Are you ready for a story? Can I tell you a story? Are you ready for a story? He told them, go out there, find an eligible young man. The only requirement is he should be a young man full of compassion, full of love for fellow human beings. Oh, the counselors, they went within the city and searched for an eligible young man. But they came back and told the king, King, we did not find any eligible young man full of compassion, full of love for fellow human beings. All we found are young men taking selfies and young men wearing their pants below their you-know-what and young men who are all right and nobody is wrong. Sorry, Your Majesty, we could not find a young man full of compassion, full of love for fellow human beings. But the king, he decreed again, I want you to go yonder. I want you to go beyond the cities. I want you to go into the villages. This time, I want you to tell all eligible men within the kingdom to come for an interview in my presence, in my palace. Tell all the eligible young men to come for interview within my palace. I want all eligible young men within the city, from the villages, to come for an interview. The only requirement is they have to be full of compassion, full of love for fellow human beings. Oh, the word spread into the villages. The word spread outside the city into the villages. The young men all got excited and prepared themselves for the interview with the king. Deep, deep in the remote village, there was a young man. This young man, he was poor, but he was kind. And he was also very hardworking. He was poor because he worked very, very hard to support both his blind parents. And this young man, he did not have anything to wear before the king. And so he worked extra hard and bought himself a gently used pair of suit to wear before the king. Oh, on that fateful day, the mother cooked for him, packed him some food and packed him some water before he set out to go before the king. Oh, a day passed. He walked, and on the second day, by the roadside, he saw a beggar by the road. This beggar was hungry and tired. This beggar, he wore nothing but tattered clothes. And this beggar extended his hand and said, "Saidia, Saidia, 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 Saidia," which means help, help, help. Saidia, 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 help, 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 said the beggar. And the young man, he looked at the poor beggar and he thought long and hard. This is the only food I have. This is the only water I have. And this is my only suit I got. The young man, he took his food and gave to the beggar. He took his water and gave it to the beggar. He took his suit and gave it to the beggar in exchange for the beggar's tattered clothes which he put on. But because he was so close to the palace, he said, "I have to trudge on till I get to the palace." He continued to walk towards the palace. And the following day, when he arrived at the palace with his clothes that were dirty and smelly, the guards could smell him from a mile away. But they were instructed to open gates for everybody. And so the guards, they opened the gate for the young man. And the young man was ushered in to the waiting room. When the king came to the throne, the young man, he was told to go before the king. And the young man, he bowed down as much as he could, almost in apology, to tell the king, "I apologize, king, for coming in smelling so bad." But when he looked up and saw the king, he looked deeply into the eyes of the king. The king's eyes looked eerily familiar. The king's eyes looked like the eyes of the beggar that he had met the day before. And the king looked at him and said, "Yes, I was the beggar that you helped yesterday." "But king, why did you dress like that? Why did you dress like a beggar? You are a king." And the king said, "If I dressed like a king, you'd have eagerly impressed me. But if I dressed as a beggar and you still went out of your way to show me love, to show me compassion, you have earned the right to succeed me as the king. I want you to go back to your parents and bring them to the palace. Let them know that you have earned the right to succeed me as the next king." Ladies and gentlemen, kindness, compassion, love for one another, loving your neighbor as you love yourself. No matter what, there are still eligible young men and women out there, full of love, full of compassion, full of kindness, who are ready to take the throne and lead us into the next generation. Until then, thank you for watching Fishmonger Stories. Don't forget to subscribe, like, go to our playlist. You can select Fishmonger Stories for children, Fishmonger Riddles, and Best of Fishmongers, Fishmonger Stories for teenagers, and share them with other friends and family who might need stories that entertain, challenge, and transform them. Until then, see you later. God bless. Katonda akusekere.